Hello, my fellow skateboarders, longboarders, and freelance skaters. This is Srinivasan, a parking lot skater. Been spending a lot of time in the parking lot lately. So, a fine art photographer who loves to skate. We're going to do a video today, and I thought I would discuss about the various types of surf skates available in the market, and also would do a small recap on how surf skate works. Okay, so surf skates are also called as carvers. Okay, so carvers in the sense like they kind of imitate the action that you do with the surfboard. Okay, so I couldn't tell the proper history of a surf skate or a carver, but I'm very well can surely assume that it should be surfaced. The initial idea must have been surfaced among the group of surfers. Okay, because as I can read through few articles, it was the requirement of those surfers on the sea who want something to practice on the land, to imitate the same type of actions that they do with the surfboard on a sea wave. So they want something to replicate the actions, like do a S type of motion, and to ride low, like to sit on a board and surf, move their hand over the sea or like on the land, something to imitate something they are doing on the sea wave as they surf with the surfboard, and they want to learn and replicate those actions on the land. So they were looking for something, a skateboard which could replicate such actions. Probably the idea of surf skate or carvers must have surfaced between the group of surfers initially. I couldn't exactly tell like where it kind of originated, maybe on which part of the land or anything, because like as I dig into the designs of the various surf skates, it might have been happening in the parallel timeline. Like one might have come up with one idea, the other one might have come up with another idea, and few might have worked for years together. Every design has the same history, like they have been working for many years to develop and imitate the surf action. Okay, so all they do is like they do some S kind of action while they surf, and they want to ride and sit, the curve, turn, twist and turns, left, right and everything, have a very short turn radius and everything, slide and all that. So that's how the surf skate requirement came in. So it must have been developed, or the idea kind of popped between the surf community. Okay, so before we get into the surf skate, we need to know a few little basics which we saw, and I have described this kind of basics in one of my video earlier, but not in a same video, but in different types of videos. Different videos in my YouTube channel which discusses all the surf stuff. Okay, so I'm going to move to the next tab. I have opened all the tabs all together because like I got to go offline just to avoid all the chaos there. So I'm recording this in the evening. Hope you can understand. It's a sort of moderate lockdown, relaxed lockdown at times these days. So people are in their house and now they are really understanding. Okay, so after all that warning, what we are looking here on the screen is like a standard Kingpin truck. This is called a standard Kingpin truck, and this is used in every skateboard that you see on the skate park, or where you used to do all the tricks and everything. A skateboard deck which has a nose and a tail, a kick tail at both ends, it's used in that skateboards. Okay, so the standard Kingpin truck, what is the difference? Why it is called a standard Kingpin truck? If you notice, the bushings in the Kingpin rest on the back side of the hanger. Okay, the hanger's front side, the pivot goes here, and the bushings, cone and the barrel bushings rest on the back side of this hanger. Okay, so what it kind of implies is like the hanger will have a motion of up and down. You know, it may go up and might go down, like it'll oscillate like this, but it may not have a turn like this. It may not turn left or right. You can lean a little bit, might have a lean angle, but it cannot turn left or right like a surf to repeat the surf action. Okay, so this is more of a sturdy design to remain straight, you know, to go straight. That's how it will be easy for you to perform a trick on a skateboard. Okay, so this is a standard Kingpin truck. Normally these standard Kingpin truck axles are very small, like about like 5 inches to 7 inches. Okay, so they are very short. They are the axles thing here. It can accommodate wheels between all the lengths, but the clearance between the deck and the hanger or the wheels will be much less if you're going to use a bigger wheel. Okay, so normally these are designed to use wheels of 52 to 55 mm, 52 to not inches, 52 to 55 mm. Okay, so these are standard Kingpin trucks for you guys. And next comes the reverse Kingpin truck. I'll tell you where it is used, mostly in the longboards. So you might have seen me unboxing or unpacking the Puente longboard truck, and then, you know, dismantling everything in one of the videos and explaining what is what and each part of a reverse Kingpin truck, or doing a video with the 3D software called Blender explaining you about the entire reverse Kingpin truck and everything. Alright, so reverse Kingpin truck is used on a longboard. These are tend to be much longer. Like the hanger is about 250 mm in length, close to 180 mm to 250 mm in length. Okay, so I'm talking about this length. If you can follow the red line, my mouse and cursor, I'm talking about the axle tip to the axle tip, which is like almost like 180 mm, you know, and the axles might be extending to further, you know, like the axle tip is from here to here. Okay, on the hanger, and these are the extended axles. Okay, so could be extending from 180 mm to 250 mm. These are much longer, and for electric skateboard, these reverse Kingpin trucks are even more longer. Okay, so what's with the electric the reverse Kingpin truck is like the base plate angle is between 45 degrees to 50 degrees. These are general terms of angles of a reverse Kingpin truck, which will allow the reverse Kingpin truck to carve, in the sense like this reverse Kingpin truck. See, let me close this, and yeah, we are lucky, like even though there are no internet here, we could able to have this picture popping up. This is a little blurred, forgive me, because so what is with the reverse Kingpin truck is like it allows the hanger to move up and down, as you can see with any other standard Kingpin trucks, but it also gives an ability to move left and right a little bit, unlike the standard Kingpin truck. So that is one of the advantages of reverse Kingpin truck. How that is possible? Let me go back to this. As you can see, the base plate angle which we discussed, like which is like 45 to 50 degrees, and look at how the hanger is being seated on the base plate, you know. So with the, because of the cushioning and everything, the angle of the Kingpin and everything, the main difference that you can find between a reverse Kingpin and a standard Kingpin truck here is the Kingpin goes through the hanger, and the bushing seat in the front side of the hanger. That is where the reverse Kingpin truck differs from a standard Kingpin truck. If you look at the standard Kingpin truck, the bushings seat behind the hanger. Here the bushings go through the hanger and sit on either side of the hanger. So this allows the reverse Kingpin truck to do the up and down motion, the leans, and gives you an ability to turn left and right. So that gives a little bit of carving ability for a reverse Kingpin truck. So why do I discuss about a standard Kingpin truck and a reverse Kingpin truck? So are the Carver trucks different from reverse Kingpin truck and a standard Kingpin truck? Absolutely yes, you are right. Carver trucks are definitely different from reverse Kingpin truck and a standard Kingpin truck. Why? Because the base plate angle of a standard Kingpin truck is like 44 degrees to 50 degrees. Okay, and the base plate angle of the reverse Kingpin truck, or I was drawing it on the opposite side, forgive me. The base plate angle of a standard Kingpin truck is like 44 degrees, and base plate angle of a reverse Kingpin truck is about 45 degrees to 50 degrees. So the base plate angle or the hanger's angle or anything that you could see here with the Carver's truck, let me zoom in a little bit, select the marker and zoom in, is close to 90 degrees. So this is like a design of a reverse Kingpin truck, a Carver truck, I mean a surf skates truck. They are much taller, they have very large ground clearance, they are much taller, and taller in the sense like they have very big, I mean like they are taller in giving space from the deck to the ground. Okay, so they give ability to mount bigger wheels on the axles. Okay, and look at the bushings, how it is being seated on the hanger. So it's basically a reverse Kingpin truck, but with a base plate angle close to 90 degrees, between 80 to 90 degrees. I might be wrong with the specs, but it's close to 90 degrees. That's what I would say. Okay, so being close to 90 degrees, this Carver trucks gives an ability. Where is that? I have to zoom out. Yeah, and zoom in back. So with being base plate angle close to 90 degrees, the Carver trucks have the ability to turn left, to turn right, and to lean up, to lean down. So it can do all the motions. Say for example, I'm going to grab a pen here. So if you could see that the hanger is like this, close to 90 degrees, so it can turn left and right like this, and it can go up and down like this when it is mounted on a deck. So it could turn like this, and it could go, it could turn like this and go up and down. So what is another factor which is more important in case of a surf skate or a surf skate truck, much more than any other reverse Kingpin or a standard Kingpin truck, is like return to the center. That is what people would call it. Whenever it does the motion of up and down and turning left and right, it has to return to its position, whatever that is. It was there initially, to the straight, being parallel to the deck, vertical, horizontal deck. It has to return to the center. So the action of return to the center is determined by the angle of this Kingpin and the base plate. Okay, so the bush is being used here to give the flex or the kind of a rubber or cushion motion for the hanger whenever it goes up and down and turns left and right to return to its center. So in case of this surf skate designer Carver, I believe this company and the people behind this company, or the ones who refine the proper surf skate design, and it's kind of my personal favorite as well. What we are looking here is the fourth version of the CX truck. This is much taller, so this kind of gives the uses the regular and traditional bushings, which is cone and barrel bushings, and a little bit taller actually. So, and kind of able to achieve the same motion that you wanted for a surf skate or a surfboard, so on the land, the replicate the action of a surfboard from the sea to the land. So that's the initial mumbo jumbo of all the reverse Kingpin truck and the standard Kingpin truck and the surf skate trucks. Okay, so it's reverse Kingpin truck also employs the return to center thing, and it's also important for that to carve and everything with the longboard. But with a Carver, you're taking much more tighter radius and tighter turns and slides, to lean and left and all those things. So it's much more essential in case of a Carver, when you are doing a very tight turn. Okay, so that's the small difference type of Kingpin. I mean, like the trucks, which kind of gives the ability to carve. Okay, so what is the reason for carving is base plate and base plate angle and the position of the Kingpin and the position of the bushings. So that's a small thing. So we are starting to getting into the topic now. Like, this is a truck which is called double Kingpin truck. What we are looking here is a double Kingpin truck from a company called Gullwing, and the model is called Sidewinder. Okay, I've spoken about this Gullwing Sidewinder in one of my videos. Okay, so this is a double Kingpin truck. What is a double Kingpin truck? Is this a reverse Kingpin truck or a standard Kingpin truck? A double Kingpin truck is a standard Kingpin truck. How can I say that? It's by the design that you can observe right here in front of your eyes. So what does a double Kingpin truck has? It has a base plate. If you could follow my red line, it has a base plate, it has a middle plate, and then comes the hanger. So why does the name double Kingpin? So it has two Kingpins. One here with the base plate, and there is another Kingpin in the middle plate. So how does this double Kingpin truck, a Carver or a surf skate, a replica which can replicate the motion of a surf skate? I'll tell you how. So this base plate angle and the Kingpin that you see on the base plate is close to 90 degrees. Okay, so and the Kingpin in the middle plate where the hanger is mounted, this is between 45 to 50 degrees. So because of this design, let me clear this for a second. Because of this design, the base plate gives the ability to turn left and right, and the Kingpin and the hanger which is mounted onto the middle plate here, it gives the ability for the hanger to move up and down. So you kind of get the surf skate motion, which moves here and which can move up and down. Okay, so it can replicate the surf action of S curve. Okay, so what is the advantage of this? This is a longboard truck. It is bigger, and it is also designed for the skateboard level, where you want to use the skateboard deck as a carving surf skate deck. Okay, so what is the advantage, or what is the mechanism employed for the double Kingpin truck to return the hanger to its center position? Here is the bushings. You have couple of bushings. You have one set of cone barrel on the base plate, which is mounted to the Kingpin on the base plate. You have another set of cone and barrel bushings, which is mounted to the Kingpin of the middle plate. So this kind of gives the works as the cushion and the dampening mechanism, which kind of gives the ability of the hanger to turn left and right and move up and down. So it kind of gives the ability for this truck to carve to replicate the action of a surfboard. So this is the first thing that I wanted to explain to you guys. And this gull-wing sidewinder double kingpin trucks are employed in electric skateboards. So it is employed in longboards, drop through, symmetrical, all kind of longboards, and you can even have it on a surf skate. Like a small dinghy board or a old school board, and do the surf action. It is like 250 mm in length. It varies actually, 180 mm to 250 mm lengths. There are various companies manufacturing this. To us, in India, this brand is available, gull-wing sidewinder trucks. So that is the first Carver truck which we saw, apart from the actual Carver which we saw here, which is the CX truck from the company called Carver. So double kingpin trucks gives the ability to mount bigger wheels, so this one being able to carve, and it also stays a little bit lower compared to the Carvers. And when you employ this double kingpin trucks onto a longboard which are symmetrical or drop through, it kind of gives the ability or a possibility to employ off-road wheels like this, and also to employ tall wheels that you have in scooters. You can put that into a double kingpin truck, employed longboard which is a drop through or a symmetrical board, and ride happily. Ever after is up to you guys. You can't live with one board for your entire life anyways. So what is the differences that we saw about this surf skate truck is like surf skate trucks are taller. It's not lower like this, like any of the longboard trucks which employs a reverse kingpin truck. Surf skate trucks have a base plate angle close to 90 degrees, and they are reverse kingpin trucks, but they have a base plate angle and kingpin angle close to 90 degrees. So that makes them taller, and they have ability to turn left and turn right and move up and down much more than the reverse kingpin trucks. So Bustin Boards is one of the longboard manufacturers. They are much more interested in creating longboards which are having low clearance in height. There are much more boards in Instagrams, and there are new companies. There are much more different and creative trucks available in the market. But what I'm showing is whatever that is kind of things that I could explore in a very short time in the skate experience that I have, which is much feeble and much less when you compare to other people. Okay, so that's about that thing. And what is the difference between a surf skate and a cruiser is like cruiser employs a standard kingpin truck, which we saw here. So cruiser always employs a standard kingpin truck. It may employ a smaller size reverse kingpin truck, but most of the cruisers are designed to stay straight, where you can push yourself and ride on your way home or to your work. Small boards. Dinghy, that's what they would call. This one is from Lanyards. I like this company. So most of the cruisers employ a standard kingpin truck. This will give you an ability to lean, but may not have the ability to turn as a Carver or a surf skate would do. Okay, so next comes the actual Carver. So we saw that as a truck here. So this one is like a CX truck which is mounted onto a actual surf skate board. So this is how a surf skate board would look like. Most of the surf skate board are short. It's called short board. It wouldn't be more than 34 inches. Okay, so anything that is above 34 inches would come under the category of a long board. Okay, so what you're looking at here is a surf skate which is about 27 inches in length, and they are wider. All the surf skates are wider, close to 10 inches by the way. Okay, so this is a CX truck pair. Front one is a taller truck. They would employ the riser pads to adjust the height of the taller front truck with the rear truck. Rear truck is normally standard Kingpin truck. Okay, and rear truck will have a good lean angle, and it would move a little bit to left and right, not as much as a front CX truck could do, turn left and right too much, it won't do that. The rear truck would have a good lean angle, but may not turn that much as the front truck that you see. So this is a Carver brand CX truck employed surfskate. Next one is a Carver brand. What you see here is a C7 truck. What is the difference between C7 and a CX truck? Is like CX truck employs traditional bushings like cone and barrel bushings, and those are the cushions, suspensions and dampening mechanism, and which kind of gives the ability for the hanger to return to its center. The C7 truck is a different and complicated mechanism wherein it involves the use of springs. Okay, it doesn't use a bushing in it. It just there is a bushing here in the hanger, but it doesn't use a bushing for return to center mechanism. Rather, it employs a, let's see if I can, there you can see here. This is almost the smaller version of waterborne surf adapter. We'll talk about that later in this episode. What you're looking here is the C7 truck. So you can see the winded springs here, which gives the ability for the truck to return to its center. So the truck would move like this to have the left and right motion, and the bushings that is employed on the hanger would give the lean angle and the leaning motion of up and down. So what is the difference why you have a CX truck and why you have a C7 truck which moves like this? C7 trucks gives the ability for a surfer or a surf skater to do a S angle in a wider pattern. Like you take time, you kind of do the skating in a much more relaxed manner. You pump the board in a much more relaxed way, like you take bigger S curves. Okay, CX trucks or a CX Carver that you see here, this Carver is meant to be for quick, swift turns and tighter turns and fast rides. Like this kind of gives you ability to do a smaller S curve. Smaller S curve in the sense like CX truck would do a S curve like this, and it makes you pump faster in a straight line, almost like a straight line, but you are going in this smaller S curves. But when you are employing a C7 truck like this is going to give you the ability to carve like this, so in a much more relaxed fashion. So you carve like this on the road. Okay, so that is a C7 truck for you. It employs springs to have the return to center mechanism. So next one is the C5 truck, which we saw earlier in one of our videos while I clean my Oxalo Carver 540 board longboard. So C5 truck is an imitation of, the exact replica of CX truck, but in a very smaller fashion. This is designed for skateboards. So the C5 truck is going to be like of 5 inches or 7 inches in length, and it's going to have every other possibilities that a CX truck can do, but one difference is like C5 truck is going to employ smaller wheels as well. Pardon my tongue. Smaller wheels as well. Like 50 mm or 52 mm or 54 mm or 55 mm or 56 mm, like that. CX truck is going to employ bigger wheels like 65 mm to 80 mm or so, something like that. So that is the difference. This is mainly used in skateboards, which we saw earlier. And this is the imitation of CX truck from Oxalo Carver 540 board longboard. Like from the brand Oxalo, the model is called Carver 540 board longboard because it has bird design here. So this is the exact look of the front CX truck. So it has the I'm sorry, I've been using this where I'm sorry, this is not giving me the ability to use this Okay, so this also has the front and up and down motion, as well as it can turn left and right. Okay, so next you have lanyards surf skates. This is something very brand new. Okay, it's a phase like August 4th or something. The video came on August 4th or something. That's when they launched this product lineup as well. They have 4 boards right now in their online store. If you want, you can go and grab one right away. It costs you about $190. What's the difference? What is the big difference does it make when it is just 1 cent lesser? So this is the surf skate setup from Lanyards. So as I said before, these are surf skates. Trucks are generally taller. Okay, so they have understood that and they have designed this board. Okay, so surf skate, they did not employ any sort of imitation here of CX or C7 trucks or any other trucks which you saw before. Rather, they just employed a reverse Kingpin truck, but with a higher base plate angle, which is close to 90 degrees. And what is the much more cleverer part here is like to have much more carving ability. Lanyards people have employed a different bushing setup here. They have cone bushings on either side, or some sort of bushings which has a tapered edge on either side. So they have a different bushings for this, probably cone, I believe. That's make the job easier. So I'm sorry, the cone bushings are like this. So it's tapered to one side of the edge, and it is used on either side of the hanger like this. So say the skateboard hanger is like this, and you have the wheels here. It using the cone bushings on either side like this. This tapered edge gives you the ability to carve much more, given the fact that this is a reverse Kingpin truck. Okay, so that is amazing design, and it's a good thought as well. We are going to discuss about all these things in one of our episodes, wherein I'll employ various types of bushings. I'll tell you what happens there if you use a different kind of bushing setup for your truck. Okay, and these trucks are employed in the forward direction. Okay, the pivot always faces the nose or the tail. Okay, so that's the thing. So look at the riser pads here. How big is the rear wheel riser pads, and how angled is the riser pads of this front truck. So the from this we can assume that front truck is much taller. So to match the height of the front truck, they have given a riser pad to this rear truck as well. So this riser pad is also angled. It kind of takes the shape of the tail, and the riser pads here on the front truck takes the shape of the nose, and the riser pads on the rear truck takes the shape of the tail. Okay, so if you want one of the surf skates from Lanyards, go try them out right away. It's available, it's brand new. Okay, so the next surf skate we are going to look in the lineup is called Smooth Star surf skate. Smooth Star surf skate. From here you might find some similar design patterns. Okay, so Smooth Star surf skate is like this. I'm going to go away. So it's more like a waterborne surf adapter thing, but it also employs a spring to give the truck to turn left and right. You're mounting the truck on an adapter here. So the Smooth Star surf skate employs an adapter over the truck, under the truck, which is mounted to the deck, which kind of gives you the ability to carve. So they use a spring, and I could not see it right away here, but that spring, I'm damn sure from here I could say like they might employ 2 or 1 spring mechanism, which kind of gives the trucks to move return to the center when it's turning left and right.